Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do your April the 14th Spiritual Principle a Day in a meditation. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. The title of the meditation is Unity, Not Uniformity. And just as all of us have our own individual personalities, so will your group develop its own identity, its own way of doing things, and its own special knack for carrying the NA message. In NA, we encourage unity, not uniformity. That comes from the group booklet introduction. Our worlds get bigger as we recover. When the fear and isolation of active addiction lifts, we can enjoy the company of fellow members. We may be inspired to visit our NA groups across town or in another part of the world, and we notice the different choices that contribute to a meeting's culture. Members gather for meetings in bomb shelters, in church basements, and next to hiking trails. Some groups join in with the readers saying certain sentences aloud in unison. Other meetings save the chanting for the end of the meeting when they shout, "Go help someone," or "Keep coming back, it works." We have different ways of welcoming newcomers. We offer meeting lists, phone numbers, hugs, and sometimes even invitations to the meeting after the meeting. When we attend a meeting that runs differently than at home, we might be annoyed by the format or the behavior. They're doing it wrong, we think. But then we realize that it's still Narcotics Anonymous. We hear those familiar readings, recognizable even in another language. The atmosphere is one of love and acceptance, and that's what really counts. Each group makes many choices about how to nurture an atmosphere of recovery. What that looks like varies from place to place, even within the same city. Tradition 4 talks about group autonomy. Now we see how that ideal makes room for our creativity and diversity, helping us embrace our differences and remain united. Today, I will delight in the variety of NA group identities and the unity that allows our diversity to flourish in a single worldwide fellowship. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the wee version of Serenity Prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for today. Please and thank you. Unity, not uniformity. This is important because what happens if you're a person that travels, a lot of times, whatever caused you to travel is also the reason why you might want to make a meeting in person, wherever you are, right? So if I'm traveling to go see a relative or someone that I love, a loved one that is sickly and likely not going to live long, wherever I'm traveling to, 9 times out of 10, there are NA meetings. And I want to make a meeting so that as I'm dealing with the situation with my loved one, I also have this connectedness to the things that have kept me afloat. God, my sponsor, the network I've developed in recovery, and making meetings. So what happens when you go to a meeting and you realize that they don't do it like you do at home? There's no reading along when the other person is reading the just for today. No one calls out the steps, the number of the steps before the person starts to read it. Or maybe it's overly interactive in your opinion. It could be that that's just the culture that has been established in that meeting. It doesn't make it any less of a meeting. I'm not sure. Well, I do have an experience actually in regards to this. It was a local meeting. It wasn't like I was traveling out of town or anything. It was a local meeting that I hadn't attended in a very long time. This particular meeting caters to, it seems like it caters to H&I, right? Because it's on the property of a treatment center. And so all the people in treatment come over to that meeting. So it's a pretty large meeting as well. And without fail, as an individual would be reading our readings that we always read at the beginning of our meetings, the whole room would chime in at certain points. For instance, alcohol is a drug, right? Alcohol is a drug. And everyone would shout, period, right? Because it's the end of the sentence, full stop. And I found myself becoming very irritated. Like, you could not get through a whole paragraph of any reading without some interaction from the room. And so I realized that that's probably not a meeting that I can personally make, because I like a certain seriousness about the meetings that I make. But it didn't make it any less of a recovery meeting, any less of an NA meeting. It just meant that the culture was different. And so when some of those home group members would actually make the meetings that I enjoyed making, they would not even do that. They would not do that. They only did it when they were in an atmosphere that the culture for that had been set. So I just wanted to share that experience because I do have some experience with this and let you know that it's possible that you will have the same experience. And I have every faith in you that you will be able to realize that Narcotics Anonymous is about unity and not uniformity, and make room for some of those differences. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose.